All right, let's just jump right into it. If you're a photographer, I can almost guarantee you've run into this question: Adobe Lightroom or Adobe Lightroom Classic? I mean, they've got the same name, but they are totally different tools. It's probably one of the biggest points of confusion out there, and today we are going to get it all sorted out. And hey, if you're feeling kind of stuck in the middle, you're definitely not alone. Picking the wrong one can mean a slow, super frustrating workflow that just completely drains your creative energy. But don't you worry. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly which one is the right choice for you. So, to really get a handle on these two apps, you've got to start with the single biggest thing that separates them. And it's not really about features, it's more about philosophy. Yeah, it all boils down to this one core conflict: the cloud versus your desktop. And honestly, this slide right here says it all. On one side, you've got Lightroom, the newer one, and it's all about the cloud. It's an ecosystem where your photos live online, so you can get to them from anywhere. But on the other side, you've got Lightroom Classic, which is this total desktop powerhouse. Your photos, they live on your hard drives, giving you absolute control. And that one difference really shapes everything else about how these programs work. The absolute heart of Lightroom Classic's world is something called the catalog. Now, this is probably the most misunderstood part of the whole program. Just think of it like a master library card system. It doesn't actually hold your photos. Instead, it just keeps track of everything about them: all your edits, your star ratings, and exactly which hard drive and folder each photo lives in. It's what makes Classic so powerful, but it also means, well, you're the librarian. You're in charge. So, how does this whole cloud versus desktop thing actually affect you day to day? Well, it all comes down to the practical stuff, right? We're talking storage, we're talking syncing, and of course, how much it's going to cost you. Where your photos physically live has some huge implications for both your backup plan and your wallet. You can really see the trade-offs laid out pretty clearly here. With Lightroom, the cloud one, your original photos get backed up to the cloud automatically. It's awesome. You can edit from your phone, your tablet, your laptop, and it all just works. But with Classic, you're the boss of your own files and your own backups. But in return, you get total control over your folder structure. So the choice really comes down to this: what do you value more, convenience or control? And of course, that cloud convenience, it comes at a price. Now, most plans will start you off with a terabyte of storage, which sounds like a lot. But what happens when you fill it up? Well, Adobe charges about $10 a month for each additional terabyte. And let me tell you, that can add up way faster than you think. And this is a huge deal for anyone who shoots a lot of photos. That extra $10 per terabyte every single month, it adds up like crazy. I mean, if you've got a 4 terabyte photo library, that's an extra $30 a month just for storage, on top of your plan. For pros and serious hobbyists, a local storage workflow with Classic is often just way, way more affordable in the long run. Okay, so let's move past storage. What are they actually like to use? Day in and day out. This is where we really see that core idea of power versus simplicity play out in the actual features. When it comes to organizing your photos, we're looking at two completely different philosophies. Lightroom uses some pretty cool AI to find your photos. You can just type mountains into the search bar, and boom, it finds your mountain pictures. Classic, on the other hand, gives you this pro-level system with folders, keywords, and amazing tools like smart collections that automatically group photos based on rules that you get to create. And I have to admit, this AI search feels like magic sometimes. Adobe Sensei AI literally looks at what's in your photos, so you can find stuff without ever adding a single keyword. It's a huge plus for just casual organization. But a lot of pros will tell you it's not always 100% perfect, which is why they still prefer Classic's hands-on control for their important work. And look, if you're a working professional, Classic just has some tools that you cannot get anywhere else. I'm talking about things like tethered shooting, where your photos pop up on your computer screen the second you take them in the studio. A super advanced print module to make sure what you see on screen is what you get on paper. Oh, and virtual copies, which let you create tons of different edits of one photo without ever duplicating the original file. For a lot of pros, these tools are simply non-negotiable. Now, none of this, not the features, not the workflow, none of it matters if your computer is chugging along. A slow, laggy experience can make even the best software feel awful. So let's talk about the hardware you actually need to make this all run smoothly. Okay, let's be real for a second. See that minimum column? Just ignore it. Seriously, the recommended column is what you should be aiming for if you don't want to pull your hair out. 16 gigabytes of RAM is pretty much the essential starting point now. And the single biggest, most impactful upgrade you can make?
switching to a solid-state drive or SSD for your operating system and your Lightroom catalog. It will make everything feel worlds faster. So, if you're on a budget and you're looking for the best bang for your buck to improve performance, follow this path. First, add more RAM. It's the most effective upgrade for making things feel snappier. Second, switch to an SSD. Then, and only then, should you start worrying about your processor and graphics card, which, let's face it, that's usually part of buying a whole new computer anyway. You hear the name Classic, and you might think it's some old, outdated software, but that could not be further from the truth. In fact, both Lightroom and Lightroom Classic now share an incredibly powerful set of modern, AI-powered editing tools. These new AI masking tools, they've been a total game changer. With just one click, you can create a perfect mask of your subject, the sky, or even specific parts of a person, like their face, their skin, their eyes, their hair. This is stuff that used to take forever with a tiny little brush. And this right here, this is what that power looks like. You can perfectly isolate someone's eyes to brighten them up or even change their color with a level of precision that you used to have to go into Photoshop for. It's just so fast and so unbelievably accurate. Here's a quick recipe you can try yourself. Want to make a boring landscape really pop? Just use the Select Sky Mask. Then drop the exposure a bit, pump up the contrast and clarity, and boost the saturation just a touch. In literally 10 seconds, you can completely change the entire mood of a photo without touching the foreground at all. Okay, so we've gone over a ton of stuff: philosophy, storage, features, hardware. But the final decision, which app is right for you, really just comes down to answering 3 simple questions about yourself. First up, where do you actually do your work? If you're almost always sitting at a desk with a big monitor, Lightroom Classic was built from the ground up for that. But if you find yourself constantly jumping between a laptop, a tablet, and your phone, and you need all your edits to magically follow you everywhere, well, that's exactly what Lightroom was designed for. Next question, what's your shooting volume like? If you come home from a wedding or a big sports event with thousands of massive RAW files, Classic was built to handle that kind of intense workload. But if you're more of a casual shooter working with smaller batches of photos, Lightroom's simpler approach might feel a lot quicker and less intimidating. And finally, how much control do you really want? Do you love the idea of deep organizational tools, custom print layouts, and a system you can tweak and perfect over years? That's Lightroom Classic. Or would you rather just avoid all that file management stuff and just get in, make some beautiful edits, and share them easily? Then Lightroom is going to feel way less overwhelming. Look, at the end of the day, this isn't about which software is better. It's about which software is better for you. The goal here isn't just to pick an app. It's to find the tool that fits your process so perfectly that it just disappears, letting you focus on the only thing that really matters: creating amazing photographs.